Yeah. Today's session will discuss about Citrix UPM, Citrix User Profile Management. Say how the profile can be handled in the Citrix environment while delivering the Citrix virtual apps and desktops. So how user is going to manage those virtual apps and desktops will discuss. Okay. So now here uh, in the Citrix, we may face slow logins or missing any of the desktop icons or inconsistent user experience. Then, if you are getting these kind of issues, UPM is is the key to resolve those kind of issues. Okay, and if the user want to get fast loading and their own user personalized desktop settings is required, so then consistent user experience is required, so then the UPM or any of the profile management solution is required. Then here we have even Microsoft having roaming profiles, but the challenge with the roaming profile is if I include Citrix data and Microsoft data in the roaming profile, the size of the profile is going to increase very high. Then that affects the slow login kind of thing. Okay, so that is the reason we are not using, like we have by default, we are getting with the AD, we are getting a roaming profile. But the challenge with the roaming profile is the size of the profile is increasing very big. So that is the purpose, we are not using a roaming profile. So then Citrix itself has provided Citrix UPM. Okay, so that's like where we can manage and synchronize user profiles across the Citrix sessions, and which can be ensured always the user will get the consistent user experience uh, like uh, uh, to which desktop, maybe he may be connecting to the different type of desktops, and the session also may be changing, but the consistent user experience, the user data, application data he can get by using the UPM. Okay, so we are not using roaming profiles. We are decoupling. Roaming profile is separate. Citrix profile is separate. Okay, so with the Citrix UPM, we'll optimize logon time and even reduce the profile corruptions also. Okay, it's going to reduce the corruption also. Okay, so now like how that UPM works, we'll discuss. So whenever the first time user login for the first time, like we are going to configure the UPM, previously UPM, we need to install that UPM agent, all those, and we need to apply the policies through templates, policy templates we used to get. Okay, but nowadays, like with the Citrix policies itself, UPM policies has been integrated with the policies itself. In the Citrix, we have the policies. From there itself, we can apply the policies, and we need to enable the settings for the policies. And when the user login for the first time, then UPM copies that template profile. Okay, so that's what is the profile it's configured, what is the network share, and where the profiles need to be created, the format. So these all we need to specify. Now here we have used environment variable is username, and this is the file share path. Then for everyone we need to give the permissions to that. Then in this profile that profile is going to stored. So for the first time, when the user login, whatever the profile settings we have configured, those all the profiles are going to store in that share path. Okay, then like for the second time when the user login, like based on those UPM reads all those, then only the necessary files is going to be stayed on the second time when the user is going to log in. For the second time when the user is going to log in, UPM will retrieve that user profile from the shared file path, and it loads only the required files, not the complete profile. So that will improve lot of login speed. And during the log off, if the user is log off, again, UPM sync any changes has been performed in the session back to the profile store. Back to the profile store. And one of this good feature is the complete profile is not going to load. So that will take a lot of time to load that, and user login also is affecting, which is required only that is going to be stored. Then we have the profile synchronization. With the profile synchronization, what is going to happen is if the user log off, whatever the changes have been made to the sessions are returned back to the network profile. Okay, so these all the steps are going to happen. Okay, so now here what is the meaning of profile streaming? If you enable the profile streaming, what is going to happen is only whatever the data is required on demand, that data is going to be delivered. And the profile synchronization is on the next session, if the user done any changes, all those changes also are going to store in the profile itself. Those are getting stored. So those all the details also is getting stored in the profile itself. Those are getting stored. Okay. Then each user profile is stored in a centralized file share, and we are using like a user name, that kind of environment. User domain also we can use. Okay, so inside that we have the folders related to app data, desktop, documents, like that. We have the like Citrix is going to sync the complete data. Citrix is going to sync the data. Say here inside that we are going to find the NT user dot data, app data, desktops, documents, favorites. All these are going to store in that network file share what we have given. Okay, so now like whenever the user logins, UPM initialize with the Citrix profile management service. Previously in the ZenApp 6 and 6.5, we need to install explicitly that UPM agent, all those. But nowadays, by default, it is coming, and even like administrative templates we need to set up. But now that is also is coming through the Citrix policies itself. With the Citrix policies itself, we are getting that behavior also. Okay, so then like when the first time user login, like in the policies, we need to assign that profile need to be enabled. Then once we enable that profile management service, UPM is going to initialize the profile management. Then UPM reads all the policy settings. Then like based on the policies, it's going to load the profile from the central store. Then like a profile streaming also is happening. Then like a synchronization also is happening. All those changes would be synced back to that store where we have configured that UPM path. Okay, and on the client side, whatever the temporary data, all those is going to be cleared. Okay, so these all the things we are going to happen. Like even we can integrate with the AD group policies also with the ADMX templates we can configure. So we'll discuss some of the important like group policies what we can be applied. So in order to apply, we can use either Citrix Studio, we have the policies, or from the Active Directory group policies also we can set up. Even from the Active Directory group policies also, we can set up under the computer configuration, administrative templates. We need to import that ADMX template for the Citrix profile management. Then like we need to configure those settings. Okay, so then say here there are some of the policies we have. We need to give the path to user store. That means like we need to configure the central DFS kind of store, like that share path, file share path we need to provide. Okay, that extension is .upm. Mostly instead of using SAM account name, we may be using username we are going to use. That is going to be dynamic. For each user, it would be keep on changing. Based on that username, that profile is going to be stored. Okay. So then, like here, what are the settings, important settings we are discussing? These are all the different policies. Say delete local profile copies on log off means, and the cleanup need to be performed. Profile streaming, say even only which of the profile data is required, only that is going to be streamed. And active write back. Okay, so active write back is normally what is the concept is if the multiple devices, if the user connects, only the last changes only we are going to get. That means if I connected from the two devices, if the whatever the changes that the user has performed on the last log off, those changes only are going to be recorded. Only those changes only is going to be recorded. But Citrix has provided one solution called as active write back. So what is the feature that is like it is going to improve the data consistency between the user session and the profile store. Okay, so whenever the user changes the changes, those changes are going to be synchronized like uh, at the end itself. So with this, what is the problem is like last write wins only comes into the picture. Okay, but other changes are missing. But if you enable active write back, okay, so if you enable this feature, the profile changes are written back to the central profile store while the user is still active itself. That means even if the user connects from the multiple devices, if I enable active write back, okay, that is going to ensure the profile changes are written back to the central profile store, even if the session is still active, not at the log off. By default in the roaming profile, what is going to happen is only at the final step itself, at the user log off itself, those changes are coming. In the other devices, whatever the changes has been performed, those are missing. In order to avoid that one, what we are doing, yeah, we are enabling active write back. So this is one of the Citrix best practice. And when we enable active write back, so UPM is continuously checking that monitors that folders and what are the files we have given. And if the user any modifies or creates any new file into those folder locations what we have configured with the UPM is going to synchronize those changes immediately. Okay, so that's like on the other session or other device, the same user connected, right? Even there also it's going to be reflected that. Okay, so that's the reason even active write back also is recommended, and we can enable which of the folder redirection, which of the folders or files can be excluded. Log files also better to enable. Okay, say multi-session write back. So these all the different say different policies we have. We'll discuss those policies also. And we have the different profile solutions we have. Not only Citrix UPM. So now Microsoft itself has given FS Logic also. Or previously there is one more product called as Absence also. Now market is not using Absence. But previously, like Absence also is one of the good enterprise solution. Roaming profile is not a good solution for the Citrix environments. Okay, so we can use FS Logics, we can use, or Citrix UPM, we can use. Okay, so here roaming profile having disadvantage with the multi-session. Okay, and large size. That is the reason the profile loading and the user logon is slow. Okay, so that is the reason like roaming profile we are not using. The FS logic can be integrated even with the Citrix environments. Even in Azure AVD also we can integrate. Okay, but what Citrix recommends, always Citrix recommends to use the UPM itself. Okay, so whereas FS logic is recommended in Azure AVD kind of, or the Azure Microsoft 365 kind of solutions. So these issues also we'll discuss. Yeah. So now whatever the permissions we need to give to that share is we need to give the full control to the administrators and each folder, user folder, like for the user, we need to provide the full control. That means inside the path, like we are going to use based on that environment variable of the username. Dynamically, we are creating the multiple. Say, suppose if you have 1,000 users are connected to Citrix environment. In the directory 1,000 folders are getting created, but root folder may be one. That's where we need to give the administrator access for all the users. If we give, then they can access other users data also. But at that user level, for that user we are giving the permissions we are giving. Okay, and the policies we can apply either to the group policies we can apply, or to the Citrix policies. And these are the policy names: path to user store, enable profile streaming, active write back, delete local profile copies on log off. Okay, which of the data need to be excluded? Say if you give that like directory path in the exclusion list, then at the UPM level that is not going to be collected. To reduce the size or which of the data is not required, we are going to integrate. Okay, so then even we can integrate with the Citrix Cloud WEM. So this is also like with the profile management itself, workspace environment management we have. So now people will ask us one question. Nowadays, everyone understood this, but like what is the difference between UPM and roaming profiles? We have the traditional profile management solution from the Microsoft. Why we are going for the UPM? Okay, so now like a UPM, like it's always better to decouple the Microsoft data and the Citrix data. Keep lightweight data in the UPM. If you keep all that in the AD roaming profile, the size of the profile is huge and there may be chance of more corruptions, and like it takes more time to load also. In order to avoid this one, we are going to use Citrix UPM, which is very lightweight. Only for the Citrix we are going to use, and the loading time also is going to improve very, very fastly. That is the reason, like fast, consistent, and policy-driven profile experience can be delivered, and even it supports active write back also. Active write back also. Okay, so then even in the roaming profile also, we are going to create the profiles on the AD level group policies we are applying. Then it's going to be through the group policies it's going to store. But the complete data, huge data would be there. That is the reason it's having like more network load, login times are there. But Citrix UPM has optimized that process. Okay, and even that profile streaming of that Citrix also, UPM also is one of the best practice. The logon times can be improved. The logon time can be improved. Only the necessary files what it required are can be retrieved while accessing. So this is also one of the advantage of using UPM. Okay, the performance wise, which is better, Citrix UPM is better. Network load also low. File synchronization also not the complete synchronization. Profile size management also, like both are supporting exclusive, but Citrix wise it's more like a mm, easy management is possible. Okay, and even we can do the registry handling, uh, and the profile backup is there, and active write backup is there. Profile corruptions also can be easily like handled, and multiple sessions also can be handled. Okay, so we have a lot of advantages of using. Okay, so now here in this server profiles is our shared root directory. In that we are going to use user name. dot upm we are going to specify. Dot upm we are going to specify. And log files also in the log files also we are going to troubleshoot if any of the user is coming, their profile data is not logging. All those also we can use. And UPM, one more is it can be integrated with the WAM, app layering, FS logics also is supported. So when we are going to use roaming profile is we have only Windows, we don't have any Citrix environment, then better to go for that. Remaining all, we can use UPM and UPM with the Azure kind of things. There we can use. So what are the policies we have? We'll discuss. So we have Citrix Virtual App and desktops and Active Directory. Either from the Active Directory we can create that. And what we are giving is we are creating one a share path. Say that file server profile is the directory, and we are giving the permissions to administrator systems and authenticated users. Then like we are setting the NTFS permissions also. Then here that username dot upm, but instead of directly giving that username, we are using that username as a system environment variable. Then we need to install Citrix user profile management on the VDS. Okay, by default that setting as of now is coming, UPM is coming by default. Okay, so that's, otherwise we need to use from this user profile management.exe, and that service also like Citrix profile management service should be running. This should be running in all the VDAs. It should be running, not on the controllers. Okay, then in the studio or policies, we need to deploy. If you want to use with the AD policies, then we need to add that ADMX templates. Like with the Citrix policies, they're giving one ADMX templates. Okay, so that's we need to import to a Citrix also. Okay, so then even AD wise, or if you import that ADMX templates, the policies names are same, but from where we are going to apply is the matter. Okay, so what are the policies we have is like enable profile management. So what is this meaning is like if you enable this, that UPM is going to be enabled to the which of the filters we are going to apply. Okay, so that's profile management is going to be enabled. So we are going to enable the profile management we are going to perform. If you enable this setting, the profile management is going to be enabled, then we need to so these policy names are very very important. Even in that in the interview also, these settings we have done, like these policies we have applied, like that we need to explain. The first policy is we need to enable the profile management. So if we enable the profile management, what is going to happen is, if you enable the profile management, it's going to apply that settings are going to be applied, that profile management settings are going to be applied, and we can apply those profiles also. And once we enable this profile management, we need to specify the path. So we need to specify the path where those profiles are getting loaded. So where those profiles are getting loaded, so we need to specify. Okay, so that's file path we need to give. Okay, so then profile streaming also. This is also one of the best feature. By enabling the streaming, what is going to happen? If enable the streaming, only the profile what is required, only that data is going to be loaded. Only that data is itself is getting loaded instead of loading the complete data. Then even active write back also is better to enable. Active write back also enable, and even delete log off profile copies and log off also. Once it is synchronized to the store, better to restrict that also. Better to restrict or delete that data also once it is done. Okay, so that is also one of the best practice we need to set up. Then we need to provide that exclusion list, which of the data directories we don't want to synchronize that data. I don't want. So those all we can specify in the like in the like a um, files and folders. We can specify that in this path. Then that data is not going to be synchronized. That data is not going to be synchronized. Then we need to set up like which profile versioning we have depends upon that different builds we have, OS builds we have. On that we have the different versions of the profiles. Automatically it can be managed. Okay, if you have the same version, no need to do. If you have the multiple versions of the profiles we have, OS we have, then we need to enable this. Okay, so then folder redirection also is better to enable like all these are going to be redirected. And multi-session, if the user is allowed to multi-session, those also. So these all the policies we should tell we have enabled in our environment. So we have enabled the profile management, path to user path. Definitely we need to specify this path under that file level, that permission should be there. And the profile streaming should be enabled, active write back should be enabled, and delete the local profile copies on log off. And if you want explicitly need to delete the local copy, because unnecessary it's not to keep, because that session may be given to some other. That's the reason we are deleting that local copy and exclusion list directories, and enable the multi-session write back, enable logging for the troubleshooting. Better to enable the logging, and those log files also we need to specify the path. Okay, so once we give this like a profile path, all that, then all these details are going to be stored in that file share with that when the user login. On that file share, we are going to check those, and even like log files also in this path, those log files also going to store. And if you are applying those policies and if that's not reflecting, we need to verify once again GP result slash or forcefully to apply that policies. In the group policy level, we are using this one. What is that we are using is GP result we are going to use. So with the GP result, we are going to manage those. Okay, so with the GP result, we are going to manage GP update also we need to perform. Okay, so sorry, GP result will show those resultant set of those, but we need to update GP update slash force. Otherwise, user need to log off, and on the next login, those sessions are going to be coming. Those sessions are coming after that. Okay. So always in the real production environment, always better to use a dedicated file server we can use, and exclude the cache folders, unnecessary files and folders. If you keep the size of the profile is very less, then the user experience would be very good. The user experience would be very good. We are going to manage. Okay. So then even with the WM also we can integrate. Uh, say here fast SMB, and periodically backup those and archive unnecessary data is also is going to be reduced. And it's recommended to use either UPM or FS Logic. Both not recommended to use. Both are not recommended to use. That's one of the Citrix best practice that giving. Either use UPM or like FS Logics. Either UPM or FS Logics are is recommended to use. Okay, so then mostly the issues related to the profile is login and log off, like is taking more time, profile is not loading, or fall back to the temporary profile, slow login related, our profile data is missing or not syncing, or we have the profile corruptions. Okay, so like we have the different issues most of the times. Some of the engineers are only working with the profile issues mostly like the user is complaining a lot of things, but that's maybe resetting the profile, or they will have the backup of the profile that's from that previous backup, they're restoring that profile to this path. So that itself has resolved. So these kind of issues depends upon the requirement. Like mostly we need to work on these kind of issues. Okay, so slow logins also we need to troubleshoot from the profile wise itself. We need to troubleshoot. So if the login issues, maybe like if the login and log off is not happening, okay, then that UPM level for that user, whatever the permissions we have, those permissions are we don't have that permissions we don't have. Okay, then like profile folder is already locked or group policies are conflicting. So these all we need to verify. So profile may be corrupted also maybe. Profile may be corrupted also may be there. Okay, so then like we need to check the UPM logs, event logs. Okay, so these all like we need to enable the verbose mode also in the group policies and verify that file permission path. All those also we have the user having the permissions, and if we have any logs are there like profile logs, those all we need to clean up. So those all the profile logs we need to clean up there. Okay. So then any group policies also overlapping with that. So always better to keep two different file shares and don't keep in the single directory. Okay. That's again will get the conflicts. We'll get the conflicts and slow login. So on the desktop director we need to check where exactly the problem, and like profile size also maybe profile streaming has been disabled and folder redirection is not configured. And for the profile path, if you enable antivirus, that's here antivirus. If you enable this, like it takes more time to, because that scanning should be finished. But if you do disable that, again security wise it's a risky kind of thing. Okay, so that's like maybe the common causes why the profile is taking more time to load. We need to identify this from the director also. We need to check exactly at what step we have the problems. All those we need to verify, and even we need to check the like a profile streaming should be enabled and exclude unnecessary directories from the exclusion list. Enable those. Okay, then folder redirection, heavy folders, better to redirect, and WM also we can use. Then antivirus scanning also for the directories on those we can exclude those from the antivirus. We can exclude those also. So with this, we can manage those. Okay. So then if the profile is not loading, then from the previous temporary profile itself is going to be loaded. So then in the profile like share path, we have end-user.dat file that may be corrupted, or file server permission denied, or profile version mismatch. Like this here, that UPM profile. From the profile, we need to check the logs and need to restore those previous profiles. And if any of the logging is there, those all. We need to troubleshoot. If any of the locks are there, those also we need to troubleshoot for this. Okay, so then like the profile is loading, but the data is that profile data is going to be like not syncing. Okay, so that's maybe active write back is disabled or folder exclusions are not done properly. Okay, so then like network connectivities, so these also maybe some data is missing at the time of profile kind of things. Okay, so these all the issues we need to work on this. Okay, so another solution we have is FS logics. So all the data if you keep in the roaming profile, what is the problem? All the data if you keep in the roaming profile, what is the problem? The size of the profile is going to be increased a lot. Size of the profile is going to be increased a lot. Sometimes user is getting some localization kind of issues also. Okay, say Citrix with the UPM, what is that localization issues are the user is typing something in English, it is typing in Japanese kind of language, those kind of issues also. With the localization settings, user profiles will handle that kind of language specific folder names also. Okay, but if something has been misconfigured, that kind of issues also we would be getting. So we would be getting some of the strange issues also. That's also maybe related to user profile related. User is typing something in the keyboard, some other language is displaying. Those all related to like localization issues. Those also maybe like a localized folder names would be created. So those also we maybe need to troubleshoot. Okay, sometimes duplicate folder creation is going to be created with a different local name. Okay, and the profile path may be inconsistent, missing folder redirections. Okay, so these also were uh, profile corruption also maybe because with those localized special characters, those maybe like a lead for profile corruption also it may happen. Like we need to check the language packs have been installed on the servers. Okay, so those also we need to troubleshoot those issues. Okay, so always UPM wise, what are the best practices are? So UPM level, what are the best practices we need to ensure is like always use a dedicated, highly available profile store. If that is highly dedicated and dedicated, if we have the file server and good latency, we need to take care. Then what is going to happen is always the solutions are delivered fastly. And even we need to make sure the high availability replications also we need to take care for the data, because if the profile all the data need to be backup, need to be replication should be done, and NTFS permissions, all those also need to configured properly, we need to set up. Then profile streaming, active write back, these also we discuss, redirecting large files and dynamic folders and exclude the unnecessary folders. Then always keep the profile size should be less than 400 MB, 500 MB. Less than that itself we need to keep. And even we need to regularly audit those user profile sizes on the file shares. Okay, so these all we need to specify. And even we can specify different OS versions. Better to keep the specific profile path also we can keep. So with that profiles are going to be corrupted, and we need to continuously check the profile logs and the profile load time also. We need to continuously need to check that. Okay. So then we need to clean the profiles also, backup also better to perform. And OS language settings, that consistency also need to be maintained. And how to secure is we need to set up the NTFS permissions. Those NTFS permissions for the access control we need to give. And encryption also, at the SMB level encryption also is better, because while transferring the data also, because a lot of company compliance policies require that kind of encryption also is required. Okay, so these all the best practices we need to take care. Okay, so at the time of ADM profiles, those how to load. So we'll check this Citrix policies also. We'll verify once. Okay, so then like FS logic, so how to set up that also we'll discuss in the next sessions. Okay, so tomorrow we don't have. Monday we'll take the session.